Welcome to Sunday morning coffee and games. I'm excited to have you here. So today we're going to be doing a deck that I absolutely love. I think it's not broken, but man, is it good. It's really good. And this is going to be the Captain America Flow Like Water deck. This is one of my decks early on that kind of really people were like really into and whatnot. And you'll see how it works. It gets kind of crazy. You have to understand the 1.4 defense rules. So we'll go over that as we explain the deck, all that fun stuff. But really quick, if you ever have rules questions that seem confusing or whatever, down below is a link to my Discord. We ask people questions all the time. It can help you out. We talk about other games as well. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Definitely go over to twitch.tv/D20Woodworking to check out the live streams as well. Let's pop down to the table and check out this deck. All right, so we have Captain America and his cards, so hopefully you know these by now. One of the big things with Captain America is going to be his shield. It's going to give him +1 defense, so it brings up to 3 defense and gives him retaliate. This is going to kind of trigger everything else, whatever. Okay, so before we get into all this stuff, let's get into the upgrades because there's going to be a ton of them in this deck. So we have Night Nurse as support just in case we needed to clear a status card. Who knows? We have our doubles. That's fine. We have Energy Barrier, which you might not actually need, but we have it just in case because I want to make sure I don't take any damage in this deck, so we'll have it there as a just in case thing. Now, the entire way this deck works is off of the card Flow Like Water, and I have two. You can only play one, but I have two because it's that important to the deck, and it states after you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. These are all defense cards. We also have in our deck, we have Shield Block, which is, there it is, Shield Block, which is also a defense card. So all those cards are going to trigger Flow Like Water. So essentially, even though this is helping us defend and do other things, this is 3, 6, 9, I think it's 10, 11 damage from Flow Like Water with those cards. To help us pay for all these cards, we're going to use Nerves of Steel, which is going to generate a resource for those cards. We have Electrostatic Armor, which states after you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. Really quick, yes, if you exhaust, that is defending. But they also changed how defense works in the 1.4 rules 2 years back or whatever it is now. So if I don't exhaust, but I play a card like Preemptive Strike or Shield Block, I am playing a defense card, and now I am considered a defender, and I am defending. Right? It's kind of confusing sounding, but basically when it says cards like after you defend against an attack, if we play a defense card and we never exhaust, we are a defender defending. So thus those cards would this card would trigger, right? It's kind of a weird thing to understand, but it's an important rule to know with how this deck works. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments or go to Discord. We also have hard to ignore. After your hero defends against an attack and takes no damage, exhaust hard to ignore, remove 1 threat off a scheme. Again, if we don't exhaust to defend, but we play shield block, says when you would take any amount of damage, exhaust Captain America's shield to prevent all that damage and interrupt defense, then hard to ignore triggers as well, right? We'd be able to remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Dauntless, when your hero's hit points are equal to or greater than your starting hit points, you gain retaliate. So we'll have 2 retaliate, which would be really nice. And then we have unflappable. After you defend against an attack, again, shield block or preemptive strike, whatever, can trigger those things without us exhausting. We'd exhaust unflappable to deal 1 damage. And then armored vest gives us +1 defense. So we'd actually have 4 defense on our card, which is kind of nuts. We have X going to give it to you to help remove some threat and also to confuse the villain. Jocasta and Brother Voodoo are there because they can help us get defense events in case we need more of these. Iceman to, if a minion comes out, to stun that minion. All right, Desperate Defense states when your hero defends against an attack, he gets +2 defense. So again, if we're built out with 4 defense, it's giving us 6. There's no way Sandman should be doing 6 damage to us. If you take no damage, you get to ready your hero, and then we trigger all these cards. Not today. When you defending against an attack, you get +2 for that defense. So again, 6 if we optimize all the way out. If you take no damage, remove 2 threat from a scheme, which again, if we have side schemes or anything else, we can get rid of that. Preemptive Strike. When a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all the boost icons and then deal 1 damage. This is a defense card, as are all these. So it triggers Flow Like Water. So it's dealing a lot of damage. So you can see this is hopefully you can see at least the way a defense Flow Like Water deck will work. So let's set up Sandman and see how it works in practice. All right, we're mostly set up now. Let me just finish shuffling. So City Streets, we're going to want to keep kind of in check, right? We want to keep that down as much as possible. Deals indirect damage to you if your identity takes any amount of damage. All right, so the Sandman, we'll have to figure out. We're going to be defending a lot. because we are doing a Flow Lake Water deck. So hopefully the indirect damage stuff won't matter, and we'll be able to get city streets down pretty fast. I'm hoping. So we have our rough game plan. Again, we'll kind of see how it goes. I'm a little, not that I'm worried. It's kind of weird, but I wanted to do this also because a lot of people have questions about indirect damage. They think you can't defend against indirect damage. You absolutely can. The big thing with indirect damage you just need to know is that you're basically assigning all the damage. So it can't run into like an ally or something like that. Like if there's extra damage, it has to be assigned somewhere. So that's probably the easier way to think of it is every single point of damage needs to be assigned. And you get to assign at the same time. It's not like one damage after another after another. So all right, so we have to search the encounter deck for city streets, which is right here. Put in the play and put 4 sand counters on, which we have right there. We have the Sandman lifestyle at 16, ours at 11. This flips over. And that's got a force response. Starts off with 2 threat on it. All right, let's draw our 6 cards. 2, 4, 6. And then after this setup, we get to look for our stuff. Okay. So, I like the idea of Unflappable so that we can be able to draw a card. A double is obviously good. Night Nurse I like too. And Desperate Defense would be good in the beginning. X, now you know what? We're going to keep X too. We're going to keep X too, I think. And we'll get rid of Preemptive Strike. I don't think we need it just yet. No, you know what? We'll get rid of Desperate Defense too. We'll draw 2 cards. 1, 2, and we got no Desperate Defense. Okay, so we get to look for his shield, which we will need pretty early on. Oops, that's shield block. Where's the shield? There it is. Captain America's shield. So we get to look for that. We get to reduce the cost of the first ally we play each round by 1. Hence why we kept, what's his face? Professor X, because we can do this kind of early on with him. And get him out there a bit easier and cheaper. So we will use a double to pay for Professor X. Again, Living Legend, reduce the cost of the first ally you play each round by 1. So X only costs 2, which is nice. Now, when he comes in, we get to confuse Sandman, which should hopefully be good. And then we'll flip up to Captain America. I'm going to play Fearless Determination. We get to draw a card, but we get +1 thwart until the end of the round. And then we get Iceman. Yeah, Iceman would be nice, but it's not super needed right now. So let's throw away Iceman to play our shield. Now, that gives us Retaliate and our +1 defense, which is monster. Kind of what we needed more than anything else was that. So we're going to throw away Night Nurse to play Unflappable. So Flappable states that after you defend against an attack and take no damage, you get to exhaust Unflappable to draw a card. So we're going to exhaust ourselves to exhaust the character you control. Remove sand counters from here equal to that character's attack. So we're going to remove 2 off of there. X going to give it to you and remove 3 threat off of there just to keep that down. I'm going to hold on to Desperate Defense because we're going to defend. We're not going to have X take the hit. So we're just going to do 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so big card with the serum we want to play for sure. And that's going to be basically, we're going to be doing a lot of building out. It's going to be a very slow game for us, which is crazy to think. All right, so there's going to be 1 here. So Sandman's going to attack for 2. I'm going to defend for 3 and throw away your helmet. So that's 4, 5. So when you hear a defense against attack, it gets +2. So we're now defending for 5. If we take no damage, we get to ready your hero. So when Sandman attacks you, that attack deals indirect damage. If your identity takes any amount of damage from that attack, you resolve Surging Sands, Surging Sands ability on Chaos Street. Surging Sands states you place 1 counter here and discard cards from there. So we're going to try to never take damage. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's lucky for us. So that's 5 damage, but we were defending for 3, 4, 5. So we do retaliate 1 because of the shield. So he's down to 15 life. And we get to ready up because we took no damage. All right. And then the bad card is Sand Smash. Sandman attacks you with +1 damage. So he's going to attack. Oh, I'm sorry. I also should have done Unflappable. We took no damage, so exhausted, draw a card, which is Shield Toss. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to defend once again for 3. And X is going to be able to take some of this damage. So he's swinging for 3, 4, 5. So X is going to take 2 of that 5, which leaves 3 left over. We defended 3, so we take no damage. We don't have to do the Surge thing. And he takes 1 damage for Retaliate. X gets knocked out. Okay, cool. And then we don't get to ready up yet, which is fine. What we're going to do is we're going to throw away 2 cards to play Super Soldier Serum. And then we'll exhaust it to play Dauntless. And then, do we want to flip down? He is confused. So with him being confused, it could be nice to be able to take advantage of that. But I don't know if that's what we really want to do. Yeah, might as well, right? Well, if he gets in advance, that could help us. No, we're gonna stay. Okay, we're gonna stay. I think that through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I also had to quickly friendly remind myself to retaliate. So just in case people are wondering, after a character with a retaliate X keyword is attacked, deal X damage to the attacker. X is the value next to the retaliate keyword. So the way this works is the character retaliate X must survive the attack. And again, when Sandman attacks you, that attack deals indirect damage. If your identity takes that amount of damage, then we would do the whole thing. But because he is still attacking us, I've seen people confused about that as well. So the order of resolution for the abilities surrounding the retaliate keyword is abilities that trigger after character takes that amount of damage. Then you retaliate, and then abilities that trigger after character is attacked or after the attacks deal damage or whatever. So I know a lot of people wonder if you can actually do retaliate with Sandman. You absolutely can, because again, he is still attacking you, and then it's dealing indirect damage. And then if your identity takes any amount of damage from that attack, that's when you do the rest of the card. So, all right. Ooh, we have not today, which I do like. We are probably going to use that. Okay, so 1 is going to go on to here. Sandman's going to attack. We are going to defend against this, and we're going to use the serum to play not today. So when you hear a defense against an attack, it gets +2 for that attack. So we're up to 5 now. If we take no damage, we remove 2 threat from the scheme. So it's going to be 2, 3 damage. We take nothing. So we remove 2 threat from a scheme. Easy. Unflappable allows us to draw a card. Flow like water. Perfect. And then now when your hero's hit points is equal to or greater than your starting point, you gain retaliate 1. So we actually have 2 retaliate now, 1 from our shield, 1 from here. So we deal 2 damage. So he's down to 12 life. And you can kind of see the strategy here with the Flow Like Water deck. And now that we have Flow Like Water, the villain schemes. That's why you don't flip down, right? He's confused. So now you can kind of see what we're doing here. And hopefully this will make a lot of sense in a second. So again, we're going to do a double to play Flow Like Water. So every defense card moving forward, actually what we're going to do is throw away Heroic Strike to play Electrostatic Armor. And then we're going to throw away Agent 13 to I can do this all day to ready yourself up. And then we're going to exhaust to get rid of the last Surging Sand. Because whenever we get one of those minions things, the sand guys or whatever they're called, then we have to they do extra damage and stuff. I mean, we don't want to deal with that. Okay, so let's ready up. Draw our 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Armor Vest, hard to ignore. Fearless Determination. All right, so we can do Shield Block if we have to, which is a defense card. When you would take any amount of damage. So it is Interrupt Defense when you defend against an attack. So we could Shield Block this. It's what we might do. And then a lot of things trigger. That was one of the big rules updates for 1.4, is that playing a shield card or a defense card counts as defending. So we might do that. So Shield Block is when you would take any amount of damage, exhausts Captain America's shield, and you prevent all that damage, and it is a defense card. I think we're going to be doing that. Okay, so let's take this hit. It's going to be 2 plus nothing. There's the Sand Clone. So we're going to do his shield block. So we'd exhaust the shield. I guess that matters. So we take no damage whatsoever. Now, we have to go through the line of things that are going to happen now. So we did, well, actually, let's start with Unflappable. So after you defend against an attack, we did defend with Shield Block. Take no damage. You exhaust this to draw a card, which is that. Then Dauntless. Hit points are greater than equal to your starting hit points, which they are. Our hero gains Retaliate 1. We also have Retaliate here, so he's down to 10 life. Now, we did play a defense card. So deal 1 damage to enemies, so that's down to 9 life. And then after you defend against an attack, which we did because we played a defense card, we deal 1 damage to the attacking character. Sweet. All right, bad card is loose ends. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard palace that area, and remove from game for a copy of your obligation, and then reveal it. All right, so we have to look for obligation. I forgot what it is for us. Did we already get rid of it? Oh, no, there it is. All right, so during that reveal, if you change your alter ego, discard one card random from your hand. If it was not revealed, if your obligation was not revealed this way, gain search. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to flip down to exhaust myself. I'm just going to discard halfway down. So we have 5 cards. So we'll do 1. We'll do 2.5 cards, right, is what we have to get rid of. So we'll get rid of 2 cards because it's rounded down. And we discard this obligation. Okay, cool. All right, so we can do Super Serum to play the Vest, which gets us an extra defense. We're at +2. And then we'll throw away Not Today to play Hard to Ignore, which is going to allow us to remove Threat. I'm just going to deal 2 damage, right? Just deal 2 damage. He's down to 6 life. We're good to go. All right, let's ready up. Draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, defense card. Preemptive Strike is nice. There's 2 of them in there. Nerves of Steel would be really good to get in. Heroic Strike, I don't care about as much. So basically, Preemptive Strike, when the boost icons flip up, we get to deal a lot of damage, which is probably what we're going to do. Desperate Defense is nice. But I think I'd rather have Preemptive Strike. Well, do I? Do I want Preemptive Strike? We'll be able to ready up in case we get hit again. Now we'll do Desperate Defense. All right, so this goes up to 2. He's going to attack. We're going to defend and use the Serum to defend. So we're defending for 4, 5, 6 now against 2 plus nothing. Okay, so we take no damage, so we get to ready our hero. Now we retaliate 1 here, so he's down to 5 life. Unflappable, we took no damage, so we get to draw a card, Energy Barrier. Armor Vest is extra defense. While your hero's hit points is higher than, retaliate 1, so we're down to 4 life. We took no damage, so exhaust this, remove 1 threat. We play a defense card with Flow Like Water, so we deal damage. And Electrostatic Armor, after you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage. So he's down to 2 life overall, and we are readied up. Bad card is Dirt Trap. When defeated, resolve Surging Sands, which stinks. All right, so it does come in with the Crisis icon. I want to reread that really fast. So Crisis icon states, while there's at least a Crisis icon play, threat cannot be removed from the main scheme. So we can't trigger Hard to Ignore, so we do want to get rid of this. It is going to trigger this thing, which I think is okay for us. So let's do that, right? Let's thwart and remove Dirt Trap and get rid of this. So when defeated, resolve the Surging Sands ability on city streets and then resolve it again. So Surging Sands states place 1 sand counter here. Discard cards equal to the top of the encounter deck from the number of sand counters here. So we discard 1 card to sand clone. Then we resolve it again. So 1 more card or counter goes on here. And then we discard cards from the top of here. So it's 2 cards, sand clone and tidal sands. Okay. I am going to throw away Heroic Strike and Energy Barrier to play Nerves of Steel so that we can play some of our cards. I'm going to throw away one of my Preemptive Strikes to ready up. Then I'm going to exhaust to remove the sand counters from here because, again, I want to keep that as low as possible. And then we're gonna just start winning, I guess. All right, so let's ready up. We're going to hold on the Preemptive Strikes. There's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. All right. 1 goes on to here. Sandman's going to attack. We are going to do Preemptive Strike in a second. Now, I'm going to warn you, the timing on all of this, I think I'll be able to do it right. But it's going to be kind of, I might be slightly off slightly, so I apologize. There's just a lot of triggers that are about to happen. So he's going to deal 2, 3, 4 damage. So it's 4 damage. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to defend. First, I have to defend. We just got distracted because we're talking about Preemptive Strike. So we have to defend, play Preemptive Strike because of when the boost cards turn face up. So cancel all the boost icons, so he's still only doing 2 damage, and then deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon this way. It's the only one that's an interrupt. Everything else is a response. So we should do those 2 first, which knocks him down to next stage. Now, I know there's a lot of questions like, does this cancel the attack? I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure he would continue. We do have to do the when revealed Surging Sands ability, which we'll do in a second. I'm not 100% sure, what the timing of all this is, but he is going to come in with 18 health. So we did this card, which cancel all that. We're going to trigger all of these in a second, but let me do the when revealed first, just so that we're done, to help organize myself. Again, the timing might be kind of off like this, so let me know in the comments if it should be different, but it's just for my own sanity, so I don't mess up any rules. So Surging Sands, place 1 sand counter here, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to sand counters. Now our never is gone. Okay. That's fine. We triggered this. So now we go down the line, right? First, or retaliate. So 17. Then unflappable, we took no damage. We get to draw a card. Okay. Then armor vet. Okay, so then we gain another retaliate. So it's down to 16. Hard to ignore. We're going to exhaust and remove 1 threat from here. Flow like water. We play the defense card. So it's down to 15. And then after you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage. So that's down to 14. All right, everything should be good now. And then bad card is Sand Form, attached to Sandman. When you would deal any amount of damage to Sandman, discard Sand Form instead and resolve Surging Sands ability. That's nice. All right, let's throw away Flow Like Water to ready up. The reason I had 2 of them, like I mentioned before, is because I really need that card to kind of exist and do its thing. So we have that. Let's attack for 2. So when you would deal any amount of damage to Sandman, discard this instead and resolve Surging Sands ability. So Surging Sands says we place 1 sand counter here and we discard 2 cards. That's 1, 2 cards from there. And that's that. Okay. Now, what's he have? 14 life. I'm going to do this for 1, 2, 3 to play Heroic Strike. And we did use a fist resource. So we deal 6 damage to an enemy. So he's down to 8 life now. And if we use the fist resource, which we did, we get to stun that enemy. It's going to give us just a little bit of breathing room. And then we're just going to ready up. So he is stunned. We're pretty solid now. 2, 3, 4. We run out of cards. Extra bad card comes in. Well, I mean, we're in the driver's seat right now. Stunning him isn't always the best move here, but it does kind of allow us to just take a quick breather, like make sure we're good. If a minion comes in, we don't have to worry about it too much or anything like that. So I'm pretty okay with that. All right, so that shuffles up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1 goes on here. He is stunned, so nothing happens. We deal 2 bad cards. Let's see what the first one is. Volunteer work. You cannot thwart this scheme, which stinks a lot. So it comes in with 3. And then there's alter ego action. We'll worry about that later. And then friends and family. While in hero form, increase the resource cost for each event by 1. So that is a tough obligation to get right now. Okay. Let's do 2 damage. So we're down to 6. And then I'm going to throw away energy barrier to ready yourself up. In here form, increase the resource of each event. We didn't play an event. Okay, so then we're going to exhaust another 2. Bring them down to 4 life. All right, and then we're going to ready up like normal. So we have 1, 2, 3. We'll get rid of shield toss. We'll hold on to these. So 3, 4, 5. So we have not today. Use a double for this. And then I think we just win, honestly, after that. All right, this goes up by 1 or 2. I'm sorry, because of volunteer work. Now, Sandman's going to attack. When Sandman attacks you, this attack deals indirect damage. If your identity takes any amount of damage, then we'll have to deal with that. So he's attacking for 3. We're going to use a double to play not today, and we're defending 4, 5, 6 against his 3 plus 1. So we're going to take no damage. We do this interrupt. If we take no damage from the attack, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Done. We can actually probably, if we wanted to, remove it from this one, but I don't really care. All right, so actually, we'll hold on to this for a second. So now, we retaliate. It's down to 3 life. Unflappable, we exhaust and draw a card. Don't do anything there. We gain another retaliate. We do hard to ignore to remove 1 threat. play a defense card, which we did. We deal 1 damage, so he's down to 1. And then we, after the attack, deal 1 damage to the attack enemy. He's now down to 0. So we're able to just retaliate our way through that. So that was his attack. We did win now, but just for fun. Just for fun. All right, let's just see what the bad card is because I'm curious. Rhino schemes with 2 scheme. If Rhino is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Rhino minion and put him in the play engage with you. I don't think it came out yet, did he? No, he was the next card. All right, so he gains steady and overkill and piercing. Okay, so he would come out, do his thing. That's fine. So what we would probably do at this point, or all we really can do, is just throw away a card to ready up and then just hit Sandman again for 2. And then we'd have some defense stuff going on. Probably do a desperate defense off of Sandman the next turn. We can shield block Rhino, which would help us retaliate a bunch of things. So we'd have a bunch of different options there. But as you can see with Flow Lake Water deck, once you build out, I just realized that this card wasn't on screen. I apologize for that. There's so much build out. But as you can tell with Captain America Flow Lake Water deck, I mean, you're just on the defensive and you're just doing crazy amounts of damage. It's kind of fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. This is always a really fun deck. I wanted to kind of show it off with indirect damage. If there's any rules mistakes, just let me know down below. It's going to help everyone. And while you're down, make sure to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It helps out the channel a ton. But yeah, this is one of my favorite ways to play Captain America because you have retaliate with the shield. You are defending 3, and you just play the cheap defense cards. And honestly, it just, again, with Dauntless, with Hard to Ignore, with Unflappable, with Electrostatic Armor, like all this stuff just, and Flow Like Water, of course, like this stuff just starts dealing massive amounts of damage on the defense side, just kind of doing your thing. As long as you're drawing defense cards, you'll be good to go. So it was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.